Hello, and welcome back to the Sleepy Atom. Tonight we'll drift into one of the gentlest and strangest questions a curious mind could ever ask. What if the universe isn't a straight story at all, but a loop? What if everything, every star, every life, every thought has happened before and might happen again? It sounds like something out of a dream, and maybe it is. But in the quiet corners of physics and philosophy, this looping idea keeps showing up, again and again. Some call it cyclic time. Others say the cosmos is breathing in and out. Some even believe we are living lives we've already lived, just slightly out of sync with the memory of it. So tonight, let's float together, not through time as a line, but as a circle. Close your eyes if you like, or let them stay half open. There's nothing to figure out, no rush to reach the end, because if the universe really is a loop, the end isn't an end at all, the soft breath of a beginning. Every story has a beginning, or so we think. But what if the beginning wasn't the first page, but a middle point in a gentle loop? That's where our journey begins, not with a bang, but a breath. A soft breath, like the one just before a dream begins. Scientists often talk about the Big Bang as the origin of everything, a cosmic explosion that created time, space, matter, everything we can see and touch. But when we picture an explosion, we usually imagine something loud and chaotic. The beginning of the universe, though, wasn't loud. There was no sound at all, just an instant where reality quietly appeared from nothing. But here's something odd. The Big Bang didn't happen in space. It created space. It wasn't a burst into time. It made time possible. That means before the Big Bang doesn't really mean anything. And if there was no before, then the word beginning might not mean what we think it means. This confuses the human brain. We're used to stories with clear starting points, but the universe doesn't need to follow storytelling rules. Instead, it follows patterns, mathematics, and laws we're still learning. And one of those laws might hint that the beginning and the end could be the same moment, just seen from different sides. So if the Big Bang was more like a breath, what was it breathing into? And more importantly, could it breathe again? The dreamlike nature of the Big Bang. Imagine waking from a dream and not knowing whether the dream ended or just looped into another version of itself. That's what the early universe feels like to many scientists, a dream we can't remember but somehow know we were inside of. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion in a sky. It was more like the sudden appearance of a dream that had no background, no setting, no time to count seconds yet. Everything, the laws of physics, the direction of time, the idea of space, was inside that newborn dream. It expanded rapidly, faster than light at first, and yet there was nothing outside of it to expand into. That's like trying to imagine a balloon inflating with no air around it, no room, no direction. The universe didn't stretch into something else. It stretched itself into existence. And just like dreams fade the moment you try to explain them, the Big Bang resists simple answers. Scientists recreate tiny pieces of it in particle colliders. But we can't reach the real moment. It's veiled, like a fading image in a half-forgotten memory. Still, something about it lingers. The energy, the patterns, the way the universe behaves now suggests it may not have been a one-time event. Maybe, just maybe, it was part of a recurring dream. Time wakes up. In the earliest moments of the universe, time itself was like a child just opening its eyes. It had no rhythm yet, no pace, just the first heartbeat of seconds, stretching out across a cosmos not yet born. Most of us live our lives thinking of time as a steady, ticking thing. Seconds, minutes, hours. But in the first fraction of a second after the Big Bang, time didn't tick. It didn't even move in a straight line. it emerged slowly, like mist gathering in the morning. Physicists describe this early phase as inflation, not just matter expanding, but time expanding too. In a trillionth of a second, the universe grew unimaginably large. Time unfurled with it. But here's the haunting part. Nobody knows why it started, or whether it might do so again. There's a gentle theory in physics that time might loop, like a movie played on repeat. If so, then the moment time woke up may not be the first time it did. It could be one loop in a long, quiet cycle, like a memory you keep having in dreams, but never quite remember. And if time can start once, why can't it restart? A universe without edges. Have you ever tried to imagine the edge of the universe? A wall? A cliff? A dark curtain? Most people do, but physicists will tell you something even stranger. The universe might not have any edges at all. Think of the surface of a balloon. Not the inside, just the surface. No matter how far you travel along it, you never reach a wall. You just keep going in a loop. That's how some cosmologists believe the universe works. Not infinite, but edgeless. This doesn't mean the universe is a balloon, but it might mean space itself is curved, closed, and looping back on itself. If true, then if you could travel in one direction long enough, you might eventually return to where you started, like a dream that brings you back to the first scene. What's more, this shape could mean time loops too, because space and time are two threads in the same cosmic fabric. If space can curve back, then maybe time can too. Maybe our entire reality is not a straight arrow, but a softly bending spiral. And if that's true, it raises a gentle, unnerving question. Have we all been here before and simply forgotten? Cosmic background whispers. Long after a dream ends, sometimes an image or sound stays with you. That's what the universe has done. It left behind a quiet whisper from its birth, a kind of faded photograph in the sky, called the cosmic microwave background. This faint glow is everywhere. It comes from every direction, and it's not a trick or a glitch. It's the afterglow of the Big Bang itself, light stretched over 13.8 billion years, softened into microwave whispers. It tells us that the universe was once hot, dense, and full of light. But more than that, scientists noticed patterns in this whisper, tiny ripples, and those ripples may be clues, echoes of a beginning that's happened more than once. If the universe is a loop, then these background patterns might repeat in every cycle. They might be the fingerprints of a cosmic rhythm, the drumbeat of rebirth, hidden in static. And what if, just maybe, the dream we're in now is already the second, or the thousandth? We wouldn't know, but the whispers are still there, quietly calling from the past, the shape of space. Most of us grow up imagining space like an empty room, vast, cold, and flat. But the truth is, space might have a shape, not like a box or a balloon, but something much harder to picture. Something curved, folded, or even looping back on itself like a ribbon drifting in the dark. In physics, space isn't just a backdrop. It bends, stretches, and responds to matter. This means the shape of the universe is written by gravity itself. If there's enough mass, space could curve inward, like the surface of a globe. If there's too little, it could stretch forever, like an infinite sheet. But if the balance is just right, it might loop like a dream with no waking. Some theories describe the universe as a closed loop, not infinite, but without borders. That's like walking endlessly in one direction and finding yourself back where you began. Strange, isn't it? You'd feel like you were going forward, but slowly you'd return to the start, unaware. And here's where the loop deepens. If space curves, and time is part of space, then maybe time loops too. Maybe it doesn't just pass, Maybe it curls, like smoke. Maybe when you reach the end of the universe, you're only beginning again, without realizing it. So, could the shape of everything be the reason why moments repeat? What if it's all a cycle? All across nature we find cycles. The sun rises and sets, the seasons turn, the moon waxes and fades. Even your breath flows in and out. So when we look at the universe, why assume it goes in a straight line? What if everything, absolutely everything, is part of a bigger cosmic cycle? This idea isn't new. Ancient civilizations, Hindu, Egyptian, Mayan, imagined time not as a line, but as a circle. They saw the world as reborn in endless waves, day after day, age after age. Science, too, is beginning to see hints of this old wisdom through a new lens. Some physicists now believe in the cyclic model, a theory where the universe expands, slows, contracts, and then begins again, like a breath, like a heartbeat. Each universe could be followed by another, not copies, but rhyming lives, familiar yet different, old but new again. The idea that we're in one of many loops isn't scary. In fact, it might be comforting. If everything returns, then nothing is ever truly lost. Not you, not this moment, not even a fading star billions of light years away. Could we be living a moment that's already been lived before? Time is not a straight line. We're taught to think of time as a line, one direction, from past to future. But that's not how physics sees it. Time, at the deepest level, doesn't always behave like an arrow. Sometimes it folds back. Sometimes it moves in loops we don't yet understand. Imagine a spiral staircase. You walk forward, but after many turns you find yourself just above where you began. That's how some scientists describe time. Not a line, but a spiral. Each loop is a new version, similar but slightly different, just like a memory returning in a dream. This spiral idea appears in everything from galaxies to DNA. The universe seems to favour twists, coils and curves. And if time is embedded in space, maybe time spirals too. Not endless, not final, but always returning with new shades of meaning. There are theories in quantum physics where particles can loop through time. Some even suggest the future can influence the past. It sounds wild, until you realise nature doesn't mind bending rules, especially when we're not looking directly. What if time isn't marching forward, but dancing in circles we've been tracing all along? Expansion and the long pause. Right now the universe is expanding. Galaxies are drifting apart. Space itself is stretching. But what if this is only part of a larger rhythm? A swing outward before the swing inward. A long pause before a return. Cosmologists once believed gravity would slow the universe's expansion, maybe even reverse it. That idea faded when dark energy was discovered, a mysterious force causing the expansion to accelerate. But some newer models suggest this expansion could still stop. And if it does, the universe might fall back in on itself. This isn't collapse in the destructive sense. It's more like an exhale after a long inhale. The stars dim, the galaxies draw together, and space gently contracts. What follows could be another Big Bang, or something beyond it. A loop, a rhythm, a cycle so vast it feels like a pause that lasts forever. And maybe we're in that pause now. A brief, quiet moment before the loop begins again. If you listen close, maybe the cosmos is already holding its breath. Could this age, this version of the universe, just be a pause between beats? The myth of the arrow. We often say time flies. We say time marches on. But in physics, time isn't guaranteed to move forward. The idea that it does is called the arrow of time. And for all its power, it might be more illusion than rule. The arrow of time is based on entropy, how disorder increases. Ice melts, smoke drifts, stars burn out. These things don't unhappen. But when we look at the deepest laws of physics, those laws work both ways, forward and backward. It's only our experience, our memories, our biology that moves one way. The universe, by contrast, doesn't seem to mind which direction time goes. So why does it feel like it flows? And what if it doesn't? Some scientists suggest that in a looped universe, the arrow of time might reset, or reverse, or even disappear. Time could curl inward like a dream, where the end blends into the beginning. And if that's true, then maybe you've already lived this night once before, and you'll live it again. A little different each time, but somehow still familiar. Ahead in this video, we'll explore what happens if time and space curve into themselves completely, and what it might mean if the next universe has already begun forming in the quiet folds of this one. What is a closed universe? Imagine setting out on a straight path through space, walking endlessly, never turning, never stopping. Now imagine that one day, far into the future, you arrive back where you started, without ever changing direction. That's the strange beauty of a closed universe. In cosmology, a closed universe is one where space is curved inward on itself. It doesn't stretch on forever, it bends, much like the surface of a sphere, but with one more dimension. There are no edges, just endless return. And while we can't see it from here, some equations suggest this might be the real shape of everything. A closed universe would mean that all light, all matter, all time loops. It expands like a balloon for billions of years, and then like a breath, it slows, stops, and gently falls back inward. Everything we know collapses, not into chaos, but into a quiet, dense center. And from that center, another beginning. A new breath. A fresh big bang. Not the same, but made of the same building blocks. A loop of reality. Perhaps the loop we're in right now. So if the universe is truly closed, maybe we're not heading outward into nothingness. Maybe we're on our way home. Cosmic oscillation. The universe might be breathing, not metaphorically, but truly slowly, over unimaginable time, expanding and contracting in a rhythm so vast we can't see the full motion. This idea is called cosmic oscillation, and it's one of the most poetic theories in all of science. In this model, the Big Bang isn't a one-time explosion. It's just one beat in an eternal pattern. First, the universe expands, driven by the energy of its birth. Then gravity tugs it back, pulling space itself inward. Everything shrinks, stars vanish, time folds. And then, boom, a new Big Bang. A new loop begins. It's strange to picture everything collapsing, isn't it? Galaxies falling inward, light stretching to nothing, time growing thin. But in this collapse lies the seed of something new. Just as winter hides the promise of spring, so too might death hide the birth of another cosmos. Some call it the Big Crunch, others the Bounce. But whatever the name, the idea is the same. The universe loops. Maybe not identically, but rhythmically. Each version whispering a little more than the one before. Could this cosmic breath be what we're living through now, in the inhale before the exhale? Einstein's curving canvas. Einstein never set out to loop time, but the math he gave us opened the door to a universe that bends, curves, and folds itself quietly behind the scenes. He saw space and time not as separate things, but as one fabric, one great cosmic canvas. This fabric, called space-time, is shaped by gravity. Big things like stars and black holes press down on it, like marbles on a stretched sheet. The more mass, the deeper the curve. And the more curved the fabric, the stranger time becomes. In some places, time slows. In others, it nearly stops. But what if the whole universe is one giant curve? Not a flat stretch of emptiness, but a giant fold? In Einstein's equations, such a universe is entirely possible, and if time is part of that fabric, then time itself might also loop along with it. In that model, a traveller could move far enough not just through space, but through time's hidden bends. The end of one timeline could meet the beginning of the next, like a ribbon curled in your palm, and the moments we call now could ripple forward and back. Einstein once said, "The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubborn illusion." Maybe he saw the loop long before we did. Entropy and the big bounce. We're told that entropy always increases, that disorder wins, that the universe will end in cold, slow stillness. But what if entropy too could reset? What if the universe, instead of dying, bounced? Entropy is the reason ice melts, buildings crumble, and memories fade. It's the reason time feels like it only goes forward, more chaos, less order. But in a cyclical universe, there might come a point where everything resets, not because it reverses, but because it starts over, from a new beginning hidden in the ending. Some physicists believe that as the universe contracts, if it ever does, entropy shrinks too, like rewinding a long, messy movie back to the blank screen it began from. Then, in that quiet emptiness, comes a bounce, a new burst, fresh order, fresh time. This is the Big Bounce theory, not a collapse, but a return, a new frame drawn on the same paper. And here's what's wild. Some versions suggest that information from the previous universe might survive in the next, hidden in black holes or written into the fabric of space. So in some small, strange way, this version of the universe might remember something from the last. Dark energy's mysterious role. There's something pushing the universe apart, gently, constantly. We call it dark energy, but no one knows what it is. It's like a soft wind blowing through the cosmos, invisible yet undeniable, and it might hold the key to whether the universe loops or simply fades away. Right now, dark energy is making space stretch faster and faster. Galaxies aren't just drifting, they're accelerating away. That sounds like an end, doesn't it? An endless unraveling, a final sleep. But some models suggest this expansion might be temporary. If dark energy changes over time, as some theories propose, it could eventually slow, maybe even reverse. The outward push might fade, and gravity would begin to pull everything inward again. A breath returning to the chest, a loop closing its curve. In this picture, dark energy isn't just fuel, it's rhythm. It determines the tempo of the universe's dance. Too fast, and everything ends in darkness. Just right, and the music plays again. The next universe starts from the quiet center of this one. And maybe, just maybe, this mysterious energy is the memory of a past universe. A gentle echo from a cycle we've already danced through before. The mathematical possibility of recurrence. Let's imagine you have a deck of cards. You shuffle it a few times. Eventually, by pure chance, there's a small possibility you'll get the same order again. Now, what if the universe is like that? A cosmic deck, and time, just a very slow shuffle. This is where the Poincaré recurrence theorem comes in. It's a mathematical idea that says, in a closed, finite system with enough time, the system must return to a state arbitrarily close to its original one. Not as magic, just as math. Everything that can happen might happen again. Eventually. Now apply that to the universe. If the cosmos is finite in size and energy, but infinite in time, then every possible arrangement of matter and energy could repeat. Every galaxy, every sunset, every moment of laughter, even you. Not perfectly, but close enough to feel familiar in some quiet cosmic echo. It doesn't mean life is stuck on repeat. It means existence may have an ancient rhythm buried deep within it, like a melody hidden in the background static of the stars, a whisper of repetition woven into the laws of motion themselves. And maybe, as you drift through sleep tonight, part of you remembers a version of this night, from a universe long past. Holographic memory of the universe. Imagine if everything in the universe was written on its edges, not in the middle, not in space itself, but like a hologram, stored on the surface, casting a 3D illusion inward. It sounds like science fiction, but it's one of the most serious ideas in modern physics. The holographic principle says that everything inside a volume of space can be described by information stored on the boundary of that space, kind of like how a two-dimensional hologram can create the illusion of depth. The real universe, it turns out, might be hiding on its own skin. If this idea is true, it changes how we think about memory and time, because information might never be truly lost. It just gets smeared across space in ways we don't yet understand. Even black holes, which were once thought to erase everything, may be storing those secrets on their surface. And if our universe loops, if it dies and is born again, then this information might imprint itself into the next version, like fingerprints on glass, like dreams that bleed into the morning. So maybe this isn't the first time these atoms have assembled into you. Maybe they remembered how. Would the same you be born again? Here's a quiet question to carry with you. If the universe loops, would you be born again? Not just another human, but you. Same eyes, same laugh, same memories waiting to unfold? According to the logic of eternal recurrence and the recurrence theorem, it's possible. In an infinite timeline with finite combinations, patterns return. It doesn't mean your life is fated. It means that somewhere, sometime, something that feels very much like you may emerge again. The atoms that make you are ancient, born in stars, scattered by time, reassembled into molecules, cells, thoughts. If time loops, those atoms might rearrange again into something that looks and thinks and feels like you. You might be reading this again, in a different age, under different stars. But here's the delicate twist. Even if you're born again, would you know? Would you feel the repetition? Or would it all feel new, fresh and spontaneous, like a dream you don't remember having before? And maybe that's the point, that each version of you experiences the world with wonder, even if it's the 1,000th time the stars have whispered your name. Cyclic time versus eternal inflation. Science has more than one dream about how time flows. Two of the most powerful and poetic are cyclic time and eternal inflation. They both describe endlessness, but they look very different when you step inside them. Cyclic time is the idea we've been floating through tonight. The universe expands, contracts, and begins again. A loop, a circle, a breath that rises and falls forever. It gives us a sense of return, of rhythm, of old souls in new skies. Eternal inflation, on the other hand, says the universe doesn't loop, it multiplies, forever. In this model, our universe is just one bubble in a cosmic foam, and bubbles are forming endlessly, eternally, in all directions, each one with its own physics, its own story. So which is true, the loop or the sea of universes? The answer may be both, or neither, or something stranger. Scientists debate it, philosophers wonder, poets lean in quietly, and while we may not have an answer yet, the very question makes the universe feel wider. Maybe we're part of a looping time inside a multiverse, like a song repeating on one record, floating in a sea of albums we'll never hear. When the end becomes the beginning. At some point, long after the last star flickers out, after black holes fade into silence and galaxies dissolve into memory, the universe may come to a stop, a final hush. But in that hush might be a heartbeat. Some theories say that from the ashes of one universe, the next is born, a new timeline sparked by the collapse of the old, like a seed hidden in the fruit of a fallen tree. And from that seed comes everything, again. This moment, this cosmic reset, is where science meets silence. We can't see it, we can't test it, but the math allows it, and the poetry of it comforts us. Because maybe the universe never truly dies. It just begins again, softer than before. And when that new beginning comes, will it be us again? The same stars, same atoms, same mistakes, same songs? Or will it be something new entirely, something born from the faintest echo of this very moment? Whatever the answer, if the end becomes the beginning, then maybe there is no end at all. Why déjà vu exists in physics. There's a strange feeling we've all had, standing somewhere new, hearing something for the first time, and yet knowing we've seen it before. Déjà vu, a tiny glitch in time. But what if it's more than just a brain hiccup? What if it's a whisper from a looping universe? Some scientists believe déjà vu is just neurons misfiring, a moment getting processed twice. But others wonder, what if it's something deeper? A glimpse of recurrence? A shadow of a life already lived, now repeating in quiet disguise? In theories of eternal return, every arrangement of matter happens again. That includes the shape of your hand, the tilt of your head, the exact breath you're taking now. And if the universe loops, then maybe some part of you, some tiny thread, remembers. You might not recall full lifetimes, but small echoes may slip through, tiny overlaps where past and present touch, moments that feel familiar, not because you've lived them once, but because you've lived them forever. So the next time a room feels oddly known, or a stranger's face feels old, maybe it's not your memory, maybe it's the universe, quietly looping beneath your feet, the cosmic horizon. Look up at the night sky, and you're only seeing part of the picture, not because it's too dark, but because light takes time. There's a limit to how far we can see, a soft edge, a cosmic horizon. The cosmic horizon isn't a wall, it's a boundary of time. Light from beyond it hasn't had enough time to reach us yet, not since the beginning of the universe. It's like standing in fog. You see shapes nearby, but beyond a certain point the light just hasn't arrived. Now imagine this. If the universe loops, that horizon isn't just the farthest we can see. It's also a kind of mirror, a place where the past and future could fold into each other, a curved line around the loop where yesterday and tomorrow begin to blur. Some theories suggest that information can never truly leave us. Even beyond the horizon, it might loop back around, hidden in gravitational waves, quantum echoes, or faint background whispers. So what lies beyond the cosmic horizon? Perhaps it's not the unknown, but the familiar, returning in a form we no longer recognize. The universe, forgetting itself. When you wake up from a deep dream, there's often a moment where everything slips away. Names, places, even who you are. The mind forgets, so it can begin again. What if the universe does the same? In cyclic models, every loop begins with a big bang, but it's not clear if the new universe remembers the old. Is there a cosmic memory? Or does the loop wipe the slate clean each time, like breath on a mirror? Some researchers think black holes may hold the answer. As they evaporate, they may leak information in strange encoded ways, subtle signs that something from the last universe lingers, not as words, but as patterns. And yet, maybe forgetting is necessary. Each loop isn't meant to recall the last, it's meant to be its own experience. Just like we forget our dreams, to live our waking life more fully. If the universe remembered everything, would anything feel new? So maybe this version of reality isn't less because it forgets. Maybe it's more because it begins again, without burden, without weight, just possibility. Could galaxies be reborn? Galaxies spin like great wheels of stars, quiet pinwheels of light in the dark. Some are ancient, some are new, but if the universe loops, it's worth wondering, do galaxies come back? In a cyclic universe, matter doesn't vanish, it changes form. Stars burn, explode, drift. Their dust becomes new stars. Their light travels endlessly. The building blocks of galaxies never stop dancing. They just rearrange. So it's possible, if the conditions align, that galaxies similar to ours have existed before. Same spiral arms, same clusters, maybe even the same placement of solar systems. Not exactly the same, but familiar enough to stir déjà vu in the cosmos itself. And what if the Milky Way isn't just a one-time spiral? What if this great galaxy has been born again and again, carried by cycles so large we can't yet see them? There's a strange peace in imagining that. The stars above us might be echoes of stars long gone, and the stars to come may be echoes of these, time crystals and eternal structures. In 2012, physicists proposed something that almost sounded impossible, a crystal made not in space, but in time, a structure that repeats, not in shape, but in rhythm. They called it a time crystal. Unlike regular crystals, which repeat in space, like salt or snowflakes, time crystals repeat their state over time, without using energy, without decay. It's as if the material remembers what it was, and becomes it again and again. This concept, once science fiction, is now being explored in labs. And some scientists wonder, what if the entire universe is a kind of time crystal? What if it doesn't just pass through time, but vibrates within it, repeating at scales too vast for us to notice? In this view, recurrence isn't a quirk, it's built into the design. Time would have structure, like a beat, and we would be living within one of its repeating notes. It's a breathtaking idea. That time itself might want to remember. That recurrence isn't just allowed by the universe, it's part of its rhythm. Ancient civilizations and the circle of time. Long before modern science, humans looked at the stars and saw cycles. The moon waxed and waned. The seasons turned. Lives were born, grew, and passed on. And many ancient civilizations believed time itself was not a line, but a circle. The Mayans, the Hindus, the Babylonians, all describe time not as forward-moving, but as returning. Ages that rose and fell, only to rise again. Golden eras followed by dark ones, and back to gold once more. It wasn't superstition, it was observation, layered in myth. In Hindu cosmology, entire universes are said to breathe in and out through cycles called yugas. Billions of years pass, and then all of creation begins again. It mirrors, almost perfectly, some of the modern physics we now explore. It makes you wonder, were these just poetic ideas, or were they intuitions, spiritual glimpses of something deep in the structure of reality? Long before telescopes, they saw patterns that now echo through quantum theories. Perhaps humanity has always felt the loop, in sunsets, in memories, in the quiet sensation that what was may someday be again. When particles loop in quantum spirals. At the tiniest level of reality, far below atoms, below protons, particles don't behave like tiny rocks. They move in strange spirals. They flicker in and out of existence. They act like waves until you look at them, and some of these particles loop, not in space, but in behavior. Electrons, for instance, have spin, not spinning like a ball, but spinning like a whisper of direction. And it turns out, you have to rotate an electron twice to bring it back to its original state. Why? No one knows for sure, but this behavior hints at hidden dimensions, curled spaces, and loops beneath loops beneath loops. Some quantum models even suggest time itself could spiral, like a slinky, not a straight arrow. This isn't just abstract math. It's what makes the world work. It's why matter holds together, why you don't fall through your chair, why the universe doesn't unravel with every heartbeat. So if the smallest parts of nature are looping, maybe the largest parts, galaxies, time, life, are echoing that same rhythm, just on scales we can't yet hear. The illusion of linear time. Every clock ticks forward, every calendar moves from yesterday to today. But what if this movement isn't real? What if linear time is an illusion created by our brains, stitching together a deeper reality that doesn't move at all? Some physicists argue that past, present, and future all exist simultaneously. That time doesn't flow. We just experience it that way, like a person watching a movie, frame by frame, believing the story is happening in real time. But in truth, all the frames are already there, already written, already complete. Your past, your future, resting quietly alongside the now. This view is called the block universe, a model where time is just another dimension, like width or height. You don't travel through it, you exist within it. And movement through time is just your mind scanning through the slices. If that's true, then looping time isn't strange, it's expected. Because every moment has always been and always will be. You're not moving through time, you are time. Could you wake up in another loop? Let's suppose the universe loops, really loops, not just the physics, but your life, your thoughts, your dreams. What happens when this version ends? Do you disappear? Or do you wake up again, somewhere familiar? It's a soft idea, almost spiritual, that maybe the self isn't bound to just one timeline. Maybe when one version ends, another begins, seamlessly. Not with memory, but with rhythm. Like returning to the same song years later and still knowing the words. This isn't reincarnation in the religious sense. It's recurrence through mathematics and cosmology. And yet, it feels close. Like two hands touching across a veil. Perhaps your consciousness isn't a flame that burns out, but a pattern that repeats. Some scientists have begun exploring consciousness not just as a product of biology, but as something entangled with the deeper structure of space-time. If that's true, then you might be more than just a moment. You might be a ripple. So maybe when this universe ends, you won't even notice. You'll just open your eyes again and wonder why the sky looks so familiar. The silence between loops. There's something haunting about the space between things, the silence between heartbeats, the pause between breaths. If the universe loops, there must be a moment, a sliver of stillness between the end and the beginning. What does that silence sound like? Is it emptiness? Is it peace? Is it the hum of all that was, coiling back into potential? Some imagine it like the inside of a black hole, a dense, silent core where time halts. No before, no after, just being. Others picture it as white light, or absolute nothing. Not absence, but possibility. Whatever it is, it would be the most sacred moment in the cycle. The inhale before creation, the hush before the next cosmic dawn, the second when all of time holds its breath. And maybe, just maybe, that silence is where you truly are. not in the loop, but in the space between it, the eternal witness resting quietly in the center of the wheel. Have you lived this life before? You're lying here now, listening, breathing, feeling the gentle pull of sleep around your shoulders. But what if this exact moment, right here, has happened before? It's a haunting idea, and it's not just philosophy. If the universe is finite in its structure, but infinite in time, then eventually all possible configurations will reoccur. That includes this one. You, in this exact place. Hearing these same words, it wouldn't feel like repetition. You wouldn't remember. That's the strange thing about loops. They don't always come with memory. They come with rhythm, with echo, with strange little nudges like déjà vu, or dreams that feel more real than waking life. There's no way to prove it, but no way to disprove it either. And that's where the mystery lives, in the space between certainty and imagination, in the shadows where science and soul both reach quietly. So if you've lived this life before, take comfort. You chose it again, not because you had to, but because something in it, something small and tender, was worth repeating. The loop inside a dream. Have you ever had a dream where you woke up only to realize you were still dreaming? And then woke up again, and again, like falling through layers of illusion? Now imagine that feeling stretched across lifetimes, across universes. What if reality itself is a dream looping inside a larger one? What if the waking world is just one version of consciousness, drifting through layers it doesn't yet understand? Some physicists entertain the idea that consciousness may not arise from the universe, but exist within it as a fundamental property, that dreaming, sensing, and awareness aren't accidents, but patterns woven into the cosmic code. If so, then dreams aren't just night thoughts. They're echoes, fractals, test runs of possible realities. And maybe, just maybe, you're dreaming right now, not in a metaphorical sense, but literally. This life, asleep nested within a deeper mind. And when you wake up, whenever that is, you may smile, not because you escaped the dream, but because you remembered you were dreaming it all along, the universe's reflection of you. Step outside on a clear night and look up. The stars seem infinite. But here's a quiet truth. Every atom in your body was once part of one of those stars. You don't just exist in the universe. You are the universe. And just as you are shaped by the stars, the universe, in small ways, reflects you back. Your thoughts, your choices, your emotions, all of them ripple through the fabric of time like pebbles dropped into a still pond. If the universe loops, then you aren't just repeating through time. You're reshaping the loop each time. Your presence matters, not just to those around you, but to reality itself. Every time you choose kindness, every time you pause to feel the breeze, you leave an imprint, a fingerprint on the spiral of existence. And in the next loop, whenever it comes, those fingerprints might shape the world again. So don't think of yourself as small. You are a mirror, and the cosmos is looking back, softly smiling. When the universe dreams itself, let's imagine just for a moment that the universe is not a machine, but a mind. Not conscious like us, but dreaming. Spinning galaxies not for function, but for wonder. Looping time not for necessity, but because it's beautiful. What would such a universe feel like? It wouldn't rush. It wouldn't worry. It would swirl, breathe, and reflect. Like the ocean, like a lullaby, like sleep itself. You then would be one of its dreams. A fleeting arrangement of light and matter. A question it asked in the dark. A story it told to itself, again and again. And each version of you, each loop, is not a copy. It's a verse a variation in a song too vast for even stars to hear fully. So tonight, as you drift into your own dreams, imagine the universe dreaming with you. Two dreamers, one small and one infinite, breathing in rhythm, the poetry of eternal return. There's something deeply human in the idea that nothing is truly lost, that everything returns, that love, laughter, sadness, even silence, come back around in new forms. The philosopher Nietzsche once described eternal return not as a curse, but as a challenge. If you had to live this life again and again, would you be proud of how you lived it? Not in grand gestures, but in the quiet moments. The loop of the universe, if it exists, isn't a trap. It's an invitation to live meaningfully, to choose what matters, to smile when no one is watching. Because in a looping world, small things echo forever. So as you lie here now, listening to this gentle voice, know that this moment is sacred, not because it's rare, but because it might repeat, because it might last. And if it does, if this moment comes again, may it find you still resting, still breathing, still listening to the stars. Entangled timelines, entangled lives. Imagine two particles born from the same event. Even across galaxies, if you touch one, the other responds. Instantly, no signal, no delay. This is quantum entanglement, and it quietly suggests that separation may be an illusion. Now stretch that idea into time. Could moments be entangled too? Could the choices you make today ripple forward and backward, shaping not just your future, but gently nudging the past? Could you be entangled with a version of yourself across a looping universe? Some scientists believe time itself may be non-linear, woven into a grand fabric where all threads touch. You, sitting here now, could be connected to a future self resting under alien stars, or a past self watching fireflies in an ancient forest. Entanglement reminds us that life isn't isolated. Everything dances together, across space, across time. You are never truly alone. Somewhere, somewhen, another version of you may be looking up at a sky that feels strangely familiar, and maybe, in some quiet way, they're listening too, to this voice, to this thought, to this moment. The memory of water, the memory of space. There's a strange whisper in the world of physics that water remembers, that somehow, even after molecules dissolve, water holds a pattern, a vibration, like a soft memory etched into the fluid. Skeptical minds challenge this, but the idea lingers. What if memory doesn't need a brain? What if space itself, silent and vast, remembers everything that has ever happened within it? Some quantum models suggest that even when particles collide and disappear, the information about that collision remains. It's stored in the background, in the fabric of space-time itself, like footprints in soft sand, slowly fading, but never truly erased. If the universe loops, then memory may not be something that fades, but something that sings across cycles. Every sunset you've ever seen, every word ever spoken, softly lingering in the folds of space, waiting for their next chance to bloom. And maybe that's why some places feel sacred. Not because they're holy, but because the universe remembers something there. And so do we. Dreams that come from elsewhere. Have you ever had a dream that didn't feel like yours? A face you've never seen? A city that never existed, yet somehow felt more real than waking life? Maybe it was just a dream, or maybe it was a message from another loop. There are people, scientists, philosophers, mystics, who believe dreams aren't just echoes of your mind, but windows, portals to possibilities. Some say dreams allow you to visit alternate timelines or glimpse versions of you that exist elsewhere, looping in parallel. These aren't ideas meant to frighten, They're soft suggestions that your mind may be much more than neurons, that your dreams may drift through deeper waters, reaching toward truths the waking world isn't ready to say aloud. And if the universe loops like a dream, then every night you may briefly step back into the spiral, not to remember, but to feel, to rest in the rhythm, to remember softly who you are beneath the surface of now. So let yourself dream, not as escape, but as return, patterns that whisper in chaos. Look closely at a river's current. At first it's wild, chaotic, but the longer you stare, the more you see. Repetition, loops, swirls, patterns hidden inside the chaos. That's how nature speaks. Softly, patiently. The same is true in galaxies, in storms, in heartbeats. The universe, even in its wildest places, has rhythms. They may not be obvious at first, but they're always there. Spirals, echoes, pulses, signs that even chaos remembers its shape. Fractals are one example, complex patterns that repeat no matter how far you zoom in or out. Trees, coastlines, clouds, all shaped by this recursive beauty. Perhaps time itself is a fractal, looping across scales too vast to trace. If life feels chaotic, remember this. The loop may not be visible now, but it is unfolding. You are not lost in disorder. You are moving through a pattern, gentle, deliberate, ancient, and in time, as you rest and breathe, that pattern will show its shape, and it will feel like home. When the loop becomes the lesson, we often search for purpose in straight lines. We want stories to have beginnings, middles, and ends. But what if the lesson isn't in reaching the end, but in living the loop? If the universe truly repeats, then meaning can't be found in escape. It must be found in rhythm, in return, in choosing, again and again, to love, to forgive, to wonder, even when we've seen the stars 1,000 times before. The loop invites gentleness. It whispers, "Don't rush. You will return." It reminds you that each moment is not the first, nor the last, and yet it is sacred, because it's yours, right now. And if every loop is slightly different, then every breath you take slightly changes the music of existence. A note sung softer or louder, a heart opened a little wider than the last. So the loop isn't punishment, it's poetry. It's the universe's way of saying, try again, but this time with more tenderness. How your heartbeat echoes the cosmos. Place your hand on your chest. Feel it? That steady rhythm. You didn't start it, and you don't keep it going. It just happens, like the stars pulsing in the night, like galaxies rotating across time. Your heartbeat isn't just a function, it's a cosmic echo. The rhythm of your blood follows patterns found in distant quasars and ocean tides. Slow it down, and you'll find something strange. It starts to mirror the tempo of planetary motion. Some researchers believe our biological cycles, sleep, breath, emotion, are subtly tuned to cosmic forces, not in a mystical way, but in a rhythm-based reality, a soft resonance between flesh and universe. And if the universe loops, then your heartbeat might too, not just now, but across lifetimes, across realities. You, breathing gently in this very moment, might have breathed before, with the same soft beat under another moon. So as your heart ticks tonight, know this: it's not alone. It's keeping time with something far bigger than you'll ever fully see, and something that remembers you gently with every pulse. The loop hidden in silence. We often think of silence as empty, as nothing, but silence isn't absence, it's presence. It's a space holding potential, and within that stillness, the loop hides. Listen. Beneath the quiet there's a hum, not in your ears, but in your being. The same stillness that cradles your sleep holds galaxies between breaths. The same pause between your thoughts carries echoes from the other side of the universe. In deep meditation, people describe reaching a place where time stops, not disappears but folds, collapses. And in that quiet curve, some say they feel everything, all at once, the loop, in pure stillness. It's not science fiction. Some models of quantum time suggest that now is an illusion, that true time is timeless, and that silence is a doorway, a still ripple in the spiral of the all. So when the world gets loud, or when your thoughts feel tangled, return to the silence. You won't hear the loop there, but you'll feel it, holding you gently, like night itself. Have you already met your future? There's a strange thought that lingers in the minds of dreamers and scientists alike. What if your future has already happened? And what if pieces of it are already whispering to you? Some theories of space-time suggest that every moment, past, present, future, is already woven into the fabric. You don't create the future, you discover it. Like finding your own footprints ahead on the trail. Have you ever had a gut feeling so strong it didn't make sense? Or a moment of clarity that seemed too perfect, too timely? Perhaps you weren't guessing. Perhaps you were remembering forward. In a looping universe, the idea of time becomes slippery, and intuition, that quiet inner compass, might be your way of brushing fingertips with another version of yourself, one who's already been where you're going. So if you feel something tonight, a pull, a dream, a spark, don't ignore it. It might just be your future, saying hello. When the universe asks you to slow down, we rush through time like it's a race. Deadlines, clocks, calendars, always chasing the next thing. But what if the universe doesn't want you to go faster? What if it's quietly begging you to slow down? In loops, there's no end goal, no finish line, just return. So the point of it all, the beauty, might not be in how far you go, but in how deeply you feel each step. When you rush, the loop gets blurry. Life becomes noise. But slow down, and you start to hear the gentle clicks of reality folding in on itself. A bird's wing, a child's laugh, the way sunlight lingers on your skin a little longer than expected. Slowness isn't laziness. It's listening. It's alignment. It's stepping into rhythm with something older and wiser than human time. So tonight, let go. Don't race towards sleep. Let sleep come to you, like the stars. Slow, silent, sure. The gentle gravity of the loop. Even when we don't notice it, gravity is always there. Tugging. It never yells, never hurries. It simply pulls, quietly, patiently, toward center, toward return. And maybe that's what the loop is too. A gravity of meaning, a gentle invitation to come home, to live not in escape, but in embrace. We often think of the universe as indifferent, but what if it's not? What if it's designed to fold you back into yourself, over and over, until you finally see your own reflection in the stars? The loop doesn't demand perfection, it offers practice. Another try, another moment to forgive, another breath to notice, another evening like this one where the voice of the cosmos reaches you through a screen, soft as wind. So let that gravity take you tonight, not downward, but inward, to the place where time curls like a ribbon around your heart. Why love might be the loop's secret. What if love isn't just a feeling between people, but the very structure of the universe itself? Not romantic love necessarily, but the kind that connects, that draws things together, softly. In every galaxy, there is gravity. In every heartbeat, a rhythm. In every whisper of time, a return. And maybe, just maybe, love is the thread tying those returns together. think of how love loops in your own life, the way you return to people, to memories, to small acts of kindness that echo for years. How even in heartbreak there's a strange warmth, as if something eternal just brushed against you. If the universe loops like a dream, then love might be the part that remembers, the part that matters, the part that gently guides the spiral home again and again, like a lighthouse blinking on the edge of time. So tonight, let love be the gravity that holds you, quiet, unseen, unmeasurable, but somehow more real than anything else. You are not lost in this loop. There are nights, maybe even this one, where life feels like it's repeating without meaning, like you're walking in circles, saying the same words, feeling the same heaviness. But just because something loops doesn't mean it's meaningless. Some paths repeat to teach us. Some cycles come back to remind us we're not done learning yet. In spiral galaxies, the arms circle outward, not inward. Every loop leads somewhere new, even if it looks familiar. So maybe your life isn't a circle, it's a spiral. Returning, yes, but growing too, rising softly like smoke. Even in stillness you are moving, even in repetition you are being shaped, and even in confusion you are exactly where you are meant to be in the larger rhythm of things. So if you've been feeling stuck, breathe. You are not lost. You are looping towards something beautiful. When stars repeat their lives. Did you know that stars live in cycles too? They are born, burn, collapse and return. Some even explode into dust that becomes new stars or new planets. Some of that dust became you. It's not poetic exaggeration, it's literal. Every atom in your body was once part of an ancient star, maybe even many stars. You're not just in the loop, you are the loop, a walking memory of the cosmos. There are stars called variable stars. They dim and brighten in rhythmic patterns, as if they're breathing. Some have been pulsing for billions of years, unchanged, steady, patient, looping like cosmic heartbeats. It makes you wonder, if stars can have memory, can they dream? And if they do, maybe one of them dreamt you. So the next time you look up, smile. Somewhere out there, a star might be remembering you back. The universe may not be infinite, but the loops are. We often imagine the universe as endless, but many models suggest it might be finite, curved in on itself like a sphere, or even a donut, looping through dimensions we can't yet see. Even if space has a boundary, time might not. The loop could be the ultimate freedom, a chance to live again, to love again, to rest in the beauty of a moment that never truly leaves. If the universe is looping, then you've never really said goodbye to anything. Every goodbye is just a pause before the spiral brings it back, in another form, at another depth. You'll see those eyes again, hear that laughter again. Maybe not exactly the same, but close enough to feel it in your bones. So no, the universe may not be infinite, but the experience of it is, especially when it moves in soft, loving loops. The loop is not a prison, it's a poem. Some people fear repetition. They think of it as a trap, a cage, a wheel that never lets them off. But when you listen softly, when you feel instead of rush, you realize the loop is a song. It doesn't trap you, it holds you. It's not punishment, it's rhythm. It gives you time to heal, to feel, to notice the warmth of tea on your tongue or the quiet courage of waking up again. In music, a loop isn't boring, it's beautiful. It becomes familiar, comforting. It invites harmony. Maybe life is meant to be played like that too. So tonight, as we reach the 50th step on this spiral, let's not fear the loop. Let's listen to it. Let it sing us to sleep. Let it remind us that everything returns softer if we allow it to. And if this life is a poem looping through stars, then you, dear listener, are its quiet rhyme. The universe feels you back. You feel things, deeply, quietly, in ways words often fail to describe. But have you ever wondered, does the universe feel you? Some researchers believe consciousness might not just be in us, but throughout reality, that maybe every atom, every particle holds a sliver of awareness, not like thoughts, but like sensation, response, a hum. So when you feel joy, when you weep, when you pause to take in beauty, maybe those vibrations don't stay inside you. Maybe they echo outward, touching the very fabric of reality. And maybe the universe responds in kind. It doesn't answer with words. It answers in patterns, coincidences, comfort, a sudden breeze, a flicker of synchronicity that feels like more than chance. You are not just witnessing the loop, you are feeling it, and it, in turn, is feeling you. Why light loops in the dark? In deep space, far from stars, you'd think it would be utterly dark, but it isn't. There's always a glow, a background hum of light called the cosmic microwave background, a whisper from the beginning of time. That light has been looping, bouncing, travelling through billions of years. It carries the memory of creation itself, and even in darkness, it keeps moving, quietly, faithfully. Maybe that's what we do too, carry light even in our darkest moments, even when we feel lost. Something in us continues forward, looping softly, holding the glow of who we are, even when we forget it's there. Photons don't age. Light doesn't keep time like we do. It travels through the loop as if no time has passed at all. And in some ways, neither do we. Not in the moments that matter, not in love, laughter, or memory. So when you sit in darkness, remember, light is always still moving, even now, even here. Memory is the loop's compass. We often think of memory as something fragile, slippery. But what if memory isn't just inside your brain, but woven into time itself? In quantum theories, there's a strange idea that the future might influence the past. That memory could move both ways. That your remembering is not just recollection, but guidance, like stars placed ahead to help you find your way back home. Sometimes we remember things that never happened, or feel a sense of nostalgia for something we've never seen. Maybe those are echoes from other loops, other timelines, bleeding into this one, asking us to pay attention. Memory isn't about data, it's about meaning. It's the way the loop reminds you what matters, not just to help you survive, but to help you feel, to help you remember who you are. So hold your memories close, even the painful ones. They are markers on the spiral, silent signposts that say, you've been here before and you made it through. Why longing never ends. There's a type of emotion that doesn't quite have a name. It's not sadness, not joy. It's something in between, a soft ache, a pull, the feeling of reaching for something you can't quite touch. The Portuguese call it saudade. The Japanese call it natsukashi. Every language has a word for it, and every human has felt it. That mysterious longing, that strange homesickness for something you've never known. Maybe that's because your soul remembers the loop, remembers other lives, other versions, other skies. Maybe that ache in your chest isn't emptiness, but memory trying to return to itself. Even science doesn't fully understand emotion, but it acknowledges that longing, in some form, shapes behavior across species, across evolution. A compass made of feeling. So if you feel it now, that gentle ache, don't run from it. Sit with it. It might just be your soul turning gently toward the next part of the spiral, the dreamer. Inside the dream, let's end this chapter with a quiet question. Who is dreaming all of this? You? The stars? Something larger? Or maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe what matters is that you are the dream, a moving thought in the mind of the universe, a ripple in the soft infinity of what could be. You walk through your days as if they're solid, but even physics tells us most of what we touch is empty space, illusion, agreement, a beautifully constructed reality, shaped not just by matter, but by observation. And if all of this is a dream, if this life, this moment, this voice is part of some cosmic imagining, then it is the most precious dream imaginable. One where you get to feel, to laugh, to cry, to choose. So dream gently tonight, dear listener, not to escape, but to return, to the loop, to the spiral, to the dreaming universe that made you, to remember itself. Time gently forgets, so you can remember. Time has a strange kindness to it. It doesn't always hold everything tightly. It lets things fade, lets feelings soften. It forgets, not to hurt you, but to give you space to grow. And maybe, just maybe, that's the secret of the loop. That you forget not because you are broken, but because remembering everything all at once would be too much for one life, one heart, one breath. Have you noticed how certain smells bring memories back so vividly? Or how a single sound from childhood can open an entire world in your chest? That's time, slowly looping its secrets back to you. Even in the deepest science of the brain, we still don't know why we forget, or why some memories choose to stay. It's almost like they're waiting for just the right moment to return. And when they do, they bring pieces of yourself you didn't know you had lost. So if you forget sometimes, forgive yourself. It's just the loop, gently holding what you're not ready to carry until you are. Sleep is the portal between the spirals. Sleep is not just rest, it's return. It's a doorway through which we step, not into nothing, but into everything. When you close your eyes, something opens. Your brain waves shift, your sense of self dissolves, and your mind drifts into landscapes untouched by waking thought. Some call it dreaming, others call it real. Many believe that sleep is when the soul returns home, that the body rests. But the deeper you, the timeless part, travels the spiral again, gathering pieces, whispering with the stars, remembering futures not yet lived. Sleep has always been mysterious. Even with all our science, we still don't fully know why we dream or how sleep heals us so deeply. But maybe healing doesn't need a reason. Maybe sleep is the way the universe tucks you back into itself. So as your eyes grow heavy tonight, know this: you are not slipping away. You are stepping through into the gentle rhythm of something that has known you forever. Stardust doesn't end. It transforms. Everything you are, your bones, your blood, your breath, once burned inside stars. And one day, far from now, all of you will return to dust again. But that dust never ends. It transforms, becomes wind, soil, flower, flame, and in time it becomes star again. That's the loop. Not destruction, but transformation. The quiet truth that nothing is ever lost. Even emotions, some say, linger in the particles. Fear, joy, music, they echo in the patterns of your cells. You carry generations inside you, all of them looping their way into your smile. In every ending there's continuation. The atoms you breathe tonight may once have been part of a dinosaur, a tree, a child from 1,000 years ago, and someday someone will breathe you. So fall asleep knowing that your story is not ending, it's becoming. The loop is older than the stars, before time, before atoms, before light itself. There may have been something else, a pulse, a hum, a memory older than creation, the seed of the loop. Some call it the source, some call it God, some call it vibration. But whatever name it wears, it feels familiar, like something you've always known but can't explain. The universe may have begun with a bang, but before the bang, there was rhythm, silence, potential, and maybe love. The kind of love that doesn't speak but simply creates, repeats, returns. You came from that place, not just biologically, spiritually, emotionally. You are an echo of the loop's first breath, and no matter how far you travel, in space, in thought, in time, you are always spiraling back toward that origin, not to disappear, but to remember what it feels like to truly be.